It's amazing how far you can come. Bite-sized chunks is the way to tackle it. Single-use plastic is something that we've tried to put at the forefront of everybody's mind in the business as public enemy number one. How do we eliminate it completely? My advice would be to take it in stages. I'm not going to pretend that it's an easy thing to do, but I feel like it just needs to be chipped away at. The Agrarian Kitchen is at its centre a garden, which then supplies ingredients for a restaurant, for a cooking school and a much more casual kiosk. The Agrarian Kitchen has always at its heart been about sustainability, coming from the garden first and foremost and wanting to utilise as much of that produce as possible. Encouraging people to dine in, I think, is really important in terms of reducing single-use plastic because it enables us to control their waste. Reusables is big for us. You want people to stay, you want them to use the enamel plates and the cutlery. It's just worked out, in the best possible way. The only waste is then food waste. We can take care of that and that adds it back into our garden, and that circular economy that we try and create with our food. We were getting crates of 2-litre milk containers and just finding that there was so much of that plastic that would go into the recycling bin and just not feeling quite right about that. It took us a little while to convince them, but we moved to 15-litre milk buckets which get returned, sterilised and then returned with milk in them, and we find that works really well for us. It cuts down their expense, which is really great. There'd be between 30 and 40 bottles a week that don't go into the recycling bin. Initially with the milk supplier, we faced a little bit of problems around regulatory issues around, okay, so if we're reusing containers, what does that look like? I think the collaboration is really important because whilst you have control over what you personally may use, you have less control over what you're receiving. Ultimately, you're left holding the plastic and having to dispose of that. And so it does take some determination to do it and to kind of look outside the box. The other huge problem was polystyrene containers with seafood deliveries. Now we work quite closely with fishermen, so it comes off the water into their eskies, transferred to ours and then into reusable containers that get refrigerated. So we've eliminated that. During winter is the truffle, so they would come in a polystyrene box as well. The response from them has been, oh look, we're really glad that you've kind of pushed us to do this because it means that they hate the polystyrene containers piling up as well. I feel like it's been a really beneficial collaboration between the two. To overcome the challenges, I think it was persistence was number one, looking at kind of the final goal where you want to be and chipping away at it. The thing that surprised me about switching to reusable is how quickly it just becomes normal. People hate change, and so they're resistant to change initially, but when you do change, it just seems like you've been doing it that way forever, and it feels strange. When you do receive some plastic, you're like, this feels really weird, I feel a little bit dirty. One of the biggest keys to success is creating the culture in your workplace to infuse that ethos across all of your employees too, and they feel part of the solution.